Hey guys. So, I actually have this thing planned for us today for a first YouTube video. I've decided I'm going to sort every single Marvel movie, made by Marvel or not, anything that involves Marvel characters, and I'll explain why I think I put them in those tiers. So, hmm, let's see here. I'm gonna put a new row, and I'm gonna put never seen. All right. So we're gonna start off with the ones I've never seen. I've never seen Blade, never seen Elytra, seen Ghost Rider, seen Hulk, seen. Is that the Punisher movie? Yeah, I've never seen the Punisher movie. Is the Punisher TV show on here? Yeah. And let's see here. I've seen all of these. All of these. All of these. What is that? Blade 2. I've never seen that. That's the original X Men. No, that's not the original X Men. I know I saw somewhere around here. Hulk saw that Punisher. Okay. So right here, we've got the first four that I've never seen, which I feel like is a common one. I mean, they aren't really super popular movies. I wouldn't say any way or fashion, but um, oh, Blade. There's so many Blade movies. Oh my god. No, I'll do a real quick recap. Okay. I've never seen the New Mutants. I've never seen Black Widow. Um, never seen Morbius. Uh, that should be it. Oh, I've never seen the Phoenix. Um, is that the Daredevil movie or TV show? Um, if it was a movie, I've seen it, but I don't think it's the movie. I think it's the TV show. If it's the, we'll say if it's a TV show, I've never seen it. Alright, everything should be fine. Okay. Um, let's start off with Fantastic Four. Is that the? That's not the old. It is a bit newer. Looks or no. That's the first Fantastic Four. That's the second one. Okay. Um, personally, I would say I'm gonna have to put the original Fantastic Four on C tier. Now, I know everybody thinks the Fantastic Four movies are like horrible movies that like have horrible plot lines. I just enjoyed watching it. It was super fun. Um, I'll go ahead and put the other Fantastic Four in there as the same ranking. But I mean, they weren't good. They weren't in like you weren't in like tranced by the story, but it was just a lot of fun. I would say it's a lot of fun. X Men: The Last Stand. Uh, man, there's so many X Men movies. I actually don't think I've seen this one. I think I have. I just can't. I don't just can't remember enough to really say anything about it. Um, Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider was kind of like I saw it, but it wasn't that good. It was cool, but story wise, it wasn't very fun. And like I don't think there was like enough Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider. Like it was like it just didn't make any sense. I would put E tier, and I would go ahead and put the other Ghost Rider in E tier. All right, this is Spider-Man 3. Now Spider-Man 3, I'm gonna have to put. Ooh, it's definitely at least at B. Definitely B. Um, honestly, I think it's S tier because out of all of the three Spider-Man movies, it's the one I remember the most. I remember the dancing scene being super super cringy, but I think the story, even though there's like there's so many things going on at the same time that it still like comes together nicely. I know a lot of people don't like that movie, and some people like the original is the best, but it's really depending what you're looking at. I think it's the best out of the three, but I don't like how they did Venom personally, and I think they could have done a better job on the like villain aspect of it. Even though Sandman was a great villain. Eat more fries, I'm a fat ass. Okay, got Iron Man. Iron Man. It's solid A. Solid A. Like it didn't leave a huge impression on me when I first saw it, but it was still a really good movie. Is that the original Hulk? I'm about to put that F tier. That's the Hulk that's connected to the like Marvel Cinematic Universe. And personally, I wasn't a big fan of it. I don't remember anything from it. It just was super boring, forgetful. So I don't think it's definitely F for me. Uh, is that the X Men Origins Wolverine? Ooh, this is gonna be a tough choice. So when I first saw it, I didn't know anything about Deadpool and like what he was all about. And I first saw the movie when I was probably younger, like 10. So I'm kind of like when I'm older now and I've seen it before and I like seen it again. I don't think that it's good, and I think they ruin a lot of things they could have built off of, like Deadpool. They completely butcher his character. I think it's a cool movie, but it's gonna have to go to D tier just for how bad they did Deadpool, and the CGI is terrible. And then it's only remembered for being bad, really. Um, Iron Man 2, I'm gonna have to put I'll put B tier just because I liked the villain or the Whiplash dude. I thought he was super cool. Um, but anything else from the movie, I never really got into it. But it's a good movie. It's a good movie story wise, but I'm not a big fan of it. Like any else, other than it's a little bit of action earlier in the movie. Thor. Uh, I never really liked it that much. I like current Thor more. Well, not Ragnarok. I mean, we'll get to what was it? What was the last one that came? Love and Thunder. We'll get to that movie in a second. I would put Thor solid, solid E tier. Cause I mean the action was fine, but the story, the entire movie was just cringy, in my opinion. It was a hard watch. The entire movie was a hard watch. X Men, um, First Class. Ooh, I can't remember the movie enough to really say anything about it either. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I actually have never seen Captain America: Winter Soldier. I cannot call myself a true Marvel fan. Avengers, S tier. Pretty self-explanatory. Um, it's it's really I think it's really well written. Personally, the action's perfect. I remember first seeing it. It's a really good movie. Um, there's this different story aspects and the heroes and how they just connect to each other and the fighting. I really liked it. Amazing Spider-Man. Uh, solid A tier. Solid A tier. Actually, it's between A and S. It's just the Amazing Spider-Man was cool, but he was a good Spider-Man towards action wise. Story wise, I think Toby had better story, but Andrew had better action. Like I really liked it, but It's definitely better than the second movie, not action wise, but story wise. Iron Man 3, um, C tier. I think the third movie was the most forgettable for me, and it was just the story was okay, the action was cool, but it was kind of forgettable. Which one's that? Wolverine. Oh, is that the one where he goes to Japan? Is it Japan or China? I think it's China. Um, I think it's a solid C tier. It was a fun movie. I liked it. Um, but nothing special really. X Men. B tier. I'd say X Men's B tier just because now I view it as just because the effects are old, but you can't really give it that. You gotta give it credit for the time it came out. It was really the first like huge Marvel, huge like superhero movie. Um, but I don't think it was so good. It deserves A and S, but it was good for its time. It's still good now, but I think it sits at a good B tier. Like it's not mid, it's not perfect, but it's in between. Thor: Dark World F. Um, Captain America. Well, that's the Winter Soldier. What's this one? Oh wait, never seen that one. I have seen this one, but it's so forgettable. I'll put D tier. I mixed up. This one, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, solid D tier. Action was cool, but they did a horrible job of coming together the villains. I think they could have handled the antagonist better, or the protagonist. No, the antagonist. I don't know. The other guy, the evil guy. They could have handled those guys better. X Men. Is that Days of Future Past? Um, is that the one where he goes back in time, or is that the one where? Oh, when I get through the rest, I'll know. Guardians of the Galaxy, A tier. Really good movie. I think it was really funny. But something just fell on there. It was a really good movie. It was really good. The soundtrack's awesome. I actually have a record of the soundtrack, but um, it wasn't perfect. It had a. I mean, it was really good, but I wouldn't put it as. It wasn't that lasting of an impression. Um, Avengers: Age of Ultron S tier. Well, uh, let's put A tier just for how they handled Ultron. Just it was cool, but I don't think they really went all out as they could have with Ultron, who could have been like a huge villain who would have been so good, so well written, but they just screwed it up. Don't get me wrong, it's still a really good movie, really cool, but they could have handled Ultron better. Ant Man, B tier. Again, it was a good movie, but it wasn't as good as these. It had its flaws. It wasn't memorable. It was a little bit memorable, but it wasn't very. So I don't think it's really that good, but it's all right. Um, Fantastic Four, um, E tier. I remember it being somewhat enjoyable when I first saw it, but it was it's just not good. I don't think it's any good personally. It's not as memorable as old X Men, and like they just handle everything poorly. Deadpool. Is this Deadpool 2 or just Deadpool? It's just Deadpool. Yeah, it's just Deadpool. Deadpool, solid A. Deadpool's a solid A. The comedy was perfect. The action was really good. Um, really memorable. Actually, I might have to put it S tier. Just because Ryan Reynolds, he did such a good job acting as Deadpool. Like whenever you think of Deadpool, you think of Deadpool. Like you think of Ryan Reynolds. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was really like there was nothing that people could say was really wrong with it. Civil War, A tier. Um, maybe S. I'm going in between. I'm going in between. I liked it. The fight scene, I think the fight scene carried the entire movie, and towards the last end, it was all super good. But the boring, the first part was a little kind of slow and kind of boring. So I don't think it deserves S, which is arguable. Arguable, I understand, but I would say it's at least an A. Original Spider-Man, A tier. Um, it's memorable, has good action, good story, but it's not as good as these. But the nostalgia is pretty good, and it just in general is a pretty good movie. X-Men Apocalypse, C tier. To be honest, it's a cool movie. It has a lot of really cool scenes and thing like Quicksilver was brought into there, which is really cool. But they could have done better with the story, make it more sense, and not just like have like just kind of like I don't think like a cop out with the Phoenix beating the beating Apocalypse. Which I mean, it shows like it's a prequel, so it has to bring up the Phoenix somewhere. But I don't know. Doctor Strange, B tier. Um, just for the fact of it was a really good movie. It had good story and good action, but the end, I wasn't a big fan of the ending, where he just died over and over again. It was clever, but I was really hoping for a Doctor Strange movie to have more of a huge dramatic fight scene with Dormammu, but which would make much. And I understand that Dormammu is this infinitely powerful um, being that would have Doctor Strange would have no chance at his power to defeat him. But I figured there. Actually, I was just hoping there would be some way that it could really go up, like work on it, to where it can make sense. He can defeat them, and it still be like enjoyable to watch. Which I respect why how they did it. It's a good story. It's like it makes sense. It's going by the story, but it's not as good as these, but it's a good movie. Logan, S tier. I have to explain. Um, honestly, like a perfect movie. I just everything about it's just perfect. I mean, I've only seen it once, but I remember almost every scene of it. It's everything about it is just handled perfectly. The story, it doesn't give you fan service. It just gets into nitty gritty kind of stuff, and I love it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Let's see. B tier. Guardians actually is better than the original. Like just in general, it's a little bit better than the. But the movie's only volume 2 is only a slightly worse than that, but just worse enough to where it gets placed in B tier. And it just it's not as memorable personally, but it was still pretty funny and a pretty good story. Spider-Man: Homecoming, is that the one? Yeah. B tier. Like it was just a good. It was all around. It was good. It was okay. It was like a little bit above okay. It was enjoyable, but it wasn't great, and it wasn't perfect, but it was enjoyable, really enjoyable. And it was the first like really by himself Tobey Maguire or not Tobey Tom Holland movie. Ragnarok, uh, ooh, really good really good. I'm gonna have to put it S tier. has such good music, has such good action, has such a good story, and it really just shows you the like emotional deepness you can have to Thor. Like you can still have him be a nitty gritty, just like tough individual who still feels pain and darkness, but brings comedy to it, and you can see his descent into like becoming this like an actual human being that has emotions instead of just constant just brooding and just being an idiot. But I think it really revived the character from being not being liked in general, and I think it was a really good movie. Black Panther, B tier. I never really liked it. It's CGI in certain parts of it. Um, it was okay, but it was just I wasn't a big fan of it personally. Um, but it was cool. It just wasn't my thing. Avengers: Infinity War S tier. Chills the entire towards the end of the movie. Just chills actually throughout the most hyped movie I've ever seen in my life. I saw it in theaters when it first came out. It's amazing. It's perfect in every way form except for the story might be a little bit. Deadpool 2, A tier. Comedy's really good. The story's really good. I like how they handle the characters. Deadpool is still the same, which is perfect. They handle Domino greatly. Um, I think they made a lot of really good jokes in there. I think it's A tier. Um, Ant-Man the Wasp, D tier. It's okay. It's not really memorable, but it was okay. It was watchable. Um, Venom. Venom was cool. I'd put it B tier. It was cool, but I think that they could handle it a little bit better and a little bit more focus on the mental aspect of the relationship between Venom and him, and like make it seem a little bit more like a little bit more dark and gritty because it's Venom. You gotta be a little bit more dark and gritty, but it's fine with the way they're out. It's a cool movie. I liked it. I just think that they made Venom a little bit too pussyish. Spider-Man, um, animated, the animated movie. I forgot what it's called. Um, I'd say A tier. I mean, it was just in general a pretty good movie. Soundtrack was pretty good. The animation was beautiful. I really liked it. But it wasn't like so good where it just left something in me. Where if I think of it, then I'm just like, oh yeah, that was so good. It's just more like, oh yeah, it was good, but it wasn't like, oh my god. Captain Marvel F tier. I had was so miserable sitting through it. It was not even funny. I hate a movie. I would rather watch all these over and over again than watch this again. Uh, I just Nick Fury was cool in it, but I just did not like it at all. Endgame also S tier. Uh, perfect ending fight scene, absolute chills. I think the story might could have been done better. I think they kind of messed up Hulk's character a little bit, but all around, I just loved it. I saw it in theaters when it first came out too. Spider-Man: No Way Home, saw it C tier. It was nothing special. It didn't really bring anything to the table that you haven't seen before. It could have been better, other than the ending, the cliffhanger. Um, but yeah, it was okay. Shang-Chi, it's also C tier. It was okay. It was good, but nothing like lasting, and like not as good as these. But it was okay. Um, Venom: Let There Be Carnage. I'd say another B tier. Yeah, B tier. It's not as good as the original Venom, I don't think, but the action was really good. The action was so good in the movie. I really liked it. But I think they could have made Carnage a little bit more gorier. In general, I want these kind of Venom movies to be more gorier and darker, but they don't really do that very often. But it's okay. Eternals C tier. I liked Eternals. The story was kind of boring, and it kind of like bring the Eternals in. Like it was more like a visual cool thing than like making story logical sense. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. Um, No Way Home. If we're going off in the movie theaters, first scene S tier all the way. But if we're talking about the again, I'd say A tier. It's a good. It's really good. But if you think about it, a lot of it was just for it was fan service, most of it. But only you know the absolute chills you got when you watched it in theaters. But if we're talking about in general, it's an A tier. Uh, Multiverse Madness, B tier. It was cool. I loved how they actually went dark and gritty with it at points. Um, but I think they kind of. I wish they did more of the Illuminati or went more in the aspect instead of just her killing them instantly. But it's okay. It brought some new things to the table. Thor: Love and Thunder, B tier. Now, when I first saw this, I thought it was really funny. But even when I was watching it in theaters, I was like, this is like a South Park episode. Like they're ruining the story by just making jokes. Like some things I could have like emotion and thought and psychological like things behind it. It's just replaced with jokes. And the CGI is not that good either, but like it's trying to copy what Ragnarok did, but only focusing on the humor and getting rid of anything emotional. It's just like it's a good movie, but like it just ruins like the contrast. You can't just have a character that is pure comedy. You can't. Then like be enjoyable to watch when you're talking when you're trying to look at the movie that's supposed to have like emotion behind it and like be other than just pure comedy. Because like you can't take anything seriously. When you can't take anything seriously, you can't get like into the movie. Like you can't get sucked into it. It just it's a B tier for me, but it was still a good movie. Uh, that's the original X-Men. No, it's not. Uh, X-Men 2. Okay. Which one? Which characters are those? I don't remember seeing it. I don't remember enough to really say anything about it. Hulk. F tier. There's never really been a good Hulk movie. Punisher. D tier. Just for the simple fact of I watched the show and the first couple episodes weren't that good personally. I don't think they were that good. It was okay. Spider-Man 2, I would have to put. Was that the one with Doc Ock or Green Goblin? Green Goblin was Spider-Man 2, right? Yeah. I liked it. It was okay, but I don't think it's anything super special. I don't think it's as memorable as the first or third one. Um, but it's still like an okay movie. X-Men. Um, this is the one where he goes back in time, I think. I'd say C tier. It was okay. Nothing really like memorable about it, really, in my opinion. I think they could have handled some situations better, handled characters better, but I think it's okay. It was a good movie. But anyways, guys, that is the end of the tier list. Here's my tiers. I'm sure at some point in my life this will change dramatically, and there'll be more Marvel movies to the tier list. But I'll see you guys later.